Y'all, I was teaching full time, dealing with those kids, dealing with the parents and everything in between while managing my little four and so much more. And it was a lot trying to balance all of the things, right? Building a business, not sleeping, going to work all day, following my passions on both ends, and I was exhausted. So today I want to tell you the 5 big takeaways I have from that. So I did one of these videos before and y'all ate me up. Y'all was like, we need more information. Tell us more. Give us more details. So I circled the block so I could come back and maybe give you a little bit more to help you get further in your journey. If you have any questions, make sure that you ask them below and definitely make sure you like and subscribe to stay on this journey with me. I'm Kylea, or Coach Kai, your favorite crafting coach and crafter. And again, in this video, we're going all in on how I built my business. So first, number one, the exhaustion side of it. Running both things, trying to build it out, trying to figure out what was the best use of my time, really being realistic with how many hours I could dedicate to my business. That was a big part of growing my business because sometimes I really couldn't keep up with the next holiday. Have you ever been there where you're like, oh, Valentine's Day is coming up. Oh, well, now it's like Mother's Day is coming up. Father's Day is coming up. Let me get ready. But by the time you get ready for that holiday, it is spiraling past you. You didn't have a chance to get everything you needed, to market it for 30 days, to sell the thing, to have time for fulfillment, to make sure you got orders out on time. That exhaustion and burnout is so real. And I had to take that lesson and I had to turn it into something more positive. So what I did was I turned that exhaustion more into execution. And what the execution looked like was being very strategic in what I was going to spend my time on. I decided for myself I had 20 hours a week I could spend in my crafting business. I didn't want 10 of those hours to go to making one party favor bundle. No shade. Part two, I learned that it was so much more than just to make. I had to get my mindset right. I had to learn how to make, market, monetize, and measure. And in those steps, that's what took my business to the next place, right? A lot of times as hobbyist crafters, you're only focusing on the make part of it. You're like, what am I going to make? What kind of things am I going to make and sell? You're not thinking about how am I going to market it. And I'm not talking about listing stuff on social media one time. I'm talking about, do we have our Google profile set up? Do we have our social media stuff set up? Do we have our referral system set up? Do we have alternative ways to market our business so that our business is working for us 24/7, even when you are at your full-time job or occupied with something else? So those were the things that I really had to learn how to do. I had to uncover all these different methods so I could grow my business to where I wanted it to be. And then looking at those moments that I made my first sales for every single season, that's when I realized what was working and I was able to measure it and then take it to the next step. Number three, I start focusing on what actually worked. I focused on the things that my customers wanted to buy, not necessarily all the things that were trending in craft groups. I did market research on what bestsellers look like across different platforms such as Etsy, such as Amazon, such as TikTok Shop. I looked at what was working really well and then I found a way to put my own spin on it so I could offer that to my clients. I also sold before I felt ready. And y'all, this one was a hard one. You went to college and graduated, or you got your master's degree, or you went to some kind of technical school and you were just really one of those smart people that you're used to all these steps. I really had to unlearn the behavior. So I took all my professional skills into this workplace with me, but I also had to unlearn the behavior of I have to have 75,000 perfect versions before I can release one of the versions, right? So I had to unlearn that behavior and teach myself a new behavior. And that new behavior is where I really launched my framework under measure, which is sell, study, and scale. And those are 3 things that I really live by when I'm launching new products and thinking. I don't wait for something to be perfect. I launch it, I go ahead and sell it, I get some feedback, I see how it went, and that's the study part, and then I scale it. Once I can fix those things, make it easier for customers to order, know what bundles best together, then I can go ahead and turn up the volume on it. And that's very important when you're working to grow. So stop waiting for perfect and just do it. I want you to think about how many times you watch someone else launch while you're sitting there wondering, what should I sell first? Pick a holiday, pick a season, pick a reason, and start selling now. You can make it perfect later. Yes, I'm talking to you. I know you probably hear this a lot, but until you actually execute and do this thing, you're going to stay stuck. You have to be so focused on producing and making and putting things out there that you don't even have time to get caught up in imposter syndrome. You don't even have time to get caught and worried about if people are going to like it or not. You want to know how you'll find out if people like it or not? Start selling it. They'll let you know if they like it or not. Part 4. I had to restructure my time entirely. So I talked about time a little bit already, but now I want to talk about what that looks like, right? So I had a 40-hour work week, and then every day I had about an hour commute. So that was 45 hours of my time. I had to look at my schedule across the board and say, how many hours do I need for sleep at night? How many hours does work and commuting take up? How many hours do I need for my kids' practices and stuff? How many hours do I need, for extra stuff with my husband in church? And then how many hours are left over? And of those hours left over, how many of those hours do I want to dedicate to my business? So again, my number was 20 hours for me. Let me know your number below. And once you know your number, it is really going to change the way that you look at and see your business, because then you can figure out what's going to work well in that time and what's not going to work well in that time. I really want to give you an example for this, right? Graduation season is all year long. Of course, we sell way more when we get closer to that April and May mark, but people know that they're graduating all year long, right? So when you think about graduation season, a lot of times we want to post shirt designs. A lot of times we want to post party favor bundles, but we're not giving people the full package. And in addition to the full package, you're not adding things in there that help you increase your average order value. And that matters for my time. So if it took me a long time to make, 2 dozen of the party favors. So if it took me a long time to make 2 dozen of the party favors, and then it took me a long time to press the t-shirts and the stole and the tumbler or the mug and make the buttons or the magazine cover, I could go on and on because I have a whole list of grad stuff. I have to figure out ways to make more money in that sale that did not require as much of my time. And what that looked like for me was adding additional banners. Let's say I went and bought a big 8-foot by 10-foot banner for $100, and then I sold that same banner for $225. Well, I just profited $125 for designs that I already had, right? Then I would think, okay, what other things can I add in here? If it cost me $25 to have a 60-inch by 80-inch huge blanket printed, then I'm going to pay that $25 for the blanket to be produced for me. I'm going to sell that same blanket for $100. That's another $75 profit right there. So now we're making a lot more money, right? And I could give so many examples of things that I outsource to be able to make more money off of those same orders. So again, really look at your time and then maximize every opportunity with your customers. A lot of people spend too much of their time chasing new customers. Well, you really should be nurturing the customers that you already have, asking them for recommendations, and building strong relationships that are going to make you make a lot more money. So definitely don't forget about your time and knowing how much time you have. Knowing how much time you have is going to help you from feeling like you're a failure when you can't get everything done. You really have to plan. And the last thing I'll leave you with in this section is something that's been rent free in my mind right now, is winners and losers have the same goals. They do. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody's going to dream about what that success looks like. But you really have to make sure that you are planning and you're mindful of your time and having a plan to execute on those things. And then number 6, I had to focus on the transformation. So once I got all those things down, once I learned how to get my mindset in check, how to make, how to market, how to monetize, how to measure, I was able to start focusing on the transformation, because I feel like that measure stage is always going on. I had to go back and really, this is not sexy, y'all. And I wasn't even good at math in high school. I wasn't. I was not, but I had to learn numbers. I remember sitting in the hallway my senior year waiting to see if I was going to pass math class and be able to graduate. This is real talk. So numbers were not my thing. But if I would have knew then what I know now and how important it is to understand money, I would have changed my life a long time ago. Because it's not just about making money. Y'all, I promise you that making money in this industry, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So making money in this industry is easy. Keeping the money, keeping the money and investing the money wisely, that is the hard part. So I had to start focusing on that transformation and what that looked like. I had my time under control. I knew how much money I was making. I knew the strategies to grow the money that I was making. I had to start hiring teams. Sometimes that was VAs. You can go out and get a VA for $3, $4 an hour, and that will get you so much help, right? I had to start learning how in this transformation to work on my business, not in my business. And working on my business meant that I was focusing more on the marketing side, on the monetizing side, on the serving side and the helping side. So I had to start going through that transformation. I also had to prepare to leave the classroom. And that was one of the hardest parts for me, because once I took all of that skill set that I had, plus all my new skill sets, I had to make a really tough choice. My business was doing hundreds of $1,000s a year. And while I loved teaching so much, my business needed me full time. Now, don't feel sorry for me, guys. I was doing pretty good in my opinion. I love my teacher salary. I was very grateful for that. I was grateful for the time that I had with the kids, but the burnout was real. And when I was experiencing this transformation, the one thing that I recognized was no matter what I'm trying to build right now for myself, for my family, with the craft house, with the other women that I serve, helping them put food on their tables, understanding generational wealth and all that stuff, what I had to realize was I can't serve anybody if I'm dead, right? So that's why that time management was so important. And then when I got to a certain point, it was time for me to transform and leave the classroom. So I juggled both for 7 years. 7 years before I made that choice. So I'm not telling you to go jump off into full-time entrepreneurship, but I am sharing. And to be honest with you, even as a full-time entrepreneur, your life can definitely get so caught up in everyone else's lives. If you have children, if you have a spouse, if you have friends, if you have loved ones that you're caring for, you have to work on that holistic transformation overall and make sure you're taking care of yourself. So don't forget, again, we want to focus on our mindset. We want to focus on make, market, monetize, and measuring. And those are some of the things. I just went through all the ways that I kind of looked at that and did that. I know y'all want some specific crafting videos and exactly how I did this stuff. We'll get into that. But the biggest thing that you can do is know that you can do it and believe in yourself. And I don't think that that comes without the strategy behind it. The biggest thing that built my confidence in this business, that built my confidence when it comes to content, was practicing it. So if you are working full time and you're still trying to build something, this is your sign. You can definitely do it. Just be realistic in your time and make sure that you're not getting stuck in that make. If you would like to learn more about how I can support you, tap into some of my free resources and learn more about my community. Check out the description below and we got you. Make sure you like and subscribe. It's time to go from craft to cash.